President Donald Trump has signed an executive order that would, at least for now, stop the separation of families who cross the border illegally into the United States. Hey everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. By the way, I encourage you to download the all-new KFYO app where you can listen to my show and the rest of KFYO programming. It's absolutely free and it's a great app. All right, so President Donald Trump has signed an executive order, as he was expected to do, that has, at least for now, stopped the separation of families who cross into the United States illegally. This from Fox News. President Trump signing the order on Wednesday that will allow for children to stay in detention with parents for an extended period of time. This comes as congressional Republicans scramble to draft legislation to address the same issue, but face challenges mustering the votes, and that's because of Democrats. I'll get to that here in just a second. In signing the measure, Trump said he wants to keep families together while also enforcing border security. He vowed his administration's zero-tolerance policy for illegal immigration will continue, and that's something that a lot of Democrat lawmakers do not like. Trump signing this executive order said that he hopes that this will be met with legislation. He said that he's canceling the upcoming congressional picnic because he doesn't feel right about it. The separation stem from the administration's new zero-tolerance policy on illegal immigration, which aims to prosecute all illegal border crossers. Now, because of a 1997 decision, children, as of right now, well, I guess as of a couple hours ago, children cannot be detained for longer than 20 days with adults. That goes back to 1997. A lot of people kind of missed that. Sources told Fox News that the executive action by Trump could be seen to run afoul of that 1997 order and would likely draw a lawsuit. There's a good reason to fear that. I go back to a story from 2015 in NPR. You can look it up. Obama immigrant detention policies under fire. And in this, it brings up the Flores decision from 1997 when lawyers with the Los Angeles-based Center for Human Rights, Constitutional Law, and Obama administration officials had just a few days to settle a lawsuit challenging the detention facilities for more than 2,000 women and children. Now, a judge in Los Angeles issued a preliminary ruling finding that the administration was violating an 18-year-old settlement, Flores versus Meese. The settlement required the government to house migrant children in the least restrictive environment or release those children to relatives. So this could come back to bite the Trump administration, but you have Republicans who are already trying to get out in front of this. Senator Ted Cruz released a plan this week, and other Republicans have kind of mingled on this one and sort of come up with a new piece of legislation called the Keep Families Together and Enforce the Law Act. Now, this law, it's real simple. The Keep Families Together and Enforce the Law Act includes provisions to ensure the humane and fair treatment of migrant children and families by setting mandatory standards for care and family residential centers. Families would be ensured access to suitable living accommodations, food, water, medical assistance, and other services necessary for their care. In addition to keeping children and their parents together, the legislation also keeps children safe by requiring children to be removed from an individual who presents a clear and present danger to the health and safety of a child, including situations in which DHS cannot verify the individual is actually the parent of the child. There have actually been circumstances where adults have either kidnapped or just used children as pawns to get into the United States. A parent who has a violent history, kid could be taken away, or committing aggravated felonies, a child who's a victim of sexual or domestic abuse, and a child who's a victim of course, child trafficking. To prioritize the timely adjudication of family cases, the legislation authorizes 225 new immigration judges and requires the Homeland Security Secretary and Attorney General to prioritize resolving cases of children and family in residential centers. Unlike other proposals, which incentivize illegal immigration by codifying the catch and release policies, this legislation solves the problem by keeping families together while ensuring the integrity of immigration laws. Democrats have yet to sign on to this. In fact, there have been some reports that Democrats refuse to sign on to this because they don't want to give the Republicans a win. Chuck Schumer yesterday said, no, we want to keep the focus on Trump. We don't want to work with the Republicans. Democrats, listen, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong and sign on to a bill like this, a clean bill that doesn't include border security funding, doesn't include a wall. Sign on to a clean bill and show that you were really concerned about the children. Prove me wrong, because right now you're not signing on to something like this, and now you're coming out and saying, or at least many lawmakers or some lawmakers are coming out and saying, oh, we don't know this bill, now you're going to have children and adults in detention centers for a while. We don't know if this is a good thing. That shows, that attitude right there shows it was never about the kids, that you just want to make Trump look bad and you want to make ICE and Republicans look bad. Senator Marco Rubio echoing something that I predicted was going to happen. Quote, the ink isn't even dry on the new executive order ending separation policy, and some Democrats already arguing that keeping families together isn't enough. Now they want them and their parents released after unlawful entry, knowing full well that a high percentage will never appear for a hearing that's going back to catch and release. And Marco Rubio with another tweet, some Democrats now even using the disingenuous indefinite detention term. They know full well that those who unlawfully enter the U.S. are not held indefinitely. They are entitled to due process, and our bill hires more judges to speed up that process. I predicted on the show that Democrats would come out after this executive order and say this is not good enough. Families should not be held in detention. Listen, if you cross illegally into the United States, you're breaking the law. The United States has every right to enforce the laws of this land. Some Democrats don't like hearing that, but it's the absolute truth. The bill, by the way, that Republicans have brought up would actually help put more detention facilities, bring those online to where families could stay together. Two more points before I wrap up this video. One, I don't like executive orders when it comes to immigration. I don't like them at all. I didn't like it under the Obama administration. I don't like it under the Trump administration. I understand why the president needed to do this executive order, but this is not how immigration legislation should go. Immigration legislation should be done by Congress. It should be a legislative process. There should be debate. This should not be done by the executive branch. This is something that needs to happen through Congress, and I hope the Republicans will do this, and I hope that the Democrats will sign on, but I'm not holding my breath. Third, final point before I wrap up today's video. We've got to get a handle on Central America. We've also got to get a handle on our border. Central America is on fire right now. You have socialism spreading throughout Central America. You can look it up. You have crisis after crisis in Central America. It's no wonder that people want to escape and get to the United States. It's really not. But until we secure the border and until we actually, shove a little U.S. policy towards Central America and Central American nations continue to falter and to continue to be on fire, we're going to continue to see surges along the U.S.-Mexico border. We've got to get a handle on that. The Obama administration failed Central America. And by the way, those policies continue to today because I don't think anyone's paying attention to what's happening in Central America. We got to get a handle on that. Otherwise, we're going to keep seeing these surges along the U.S.-Mexico border, and that's not going to be a good thing at all. We also need increased border security, but we'll talk about that later. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 a.m. KFYO. And, oh yeah, by the way, download the all-new KFYO app. Download it. Go ahead, download it today. It's free. You can listen to the show, listen to my show, listen to Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity. You can listen to KFYO Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin, Pratt on Texas. We got them all on the KFYO app that you can download and listen today. Have a great one.